we have some sad news out of King's Dominion, and in fact, with this is a new style of video that I have to do because it's breaking news, it's Christmas Eve. I have a lot of things to do today with the kids and going to a Christmas mass tonight at the church. But Anaconda is getting removed from King's Dominion. KDFans.com or .net just broke the news that this Aero coaster that features 4 inversions operated from, let's see, 1991 through 2024, obviously, is getting removed. It's already updated on rcdb.com. So I'm going to share my thoughts with you regarding this and what type of rides or coasters that I could see coming into this area, or why the move now. Obviously, Six Flags is not playing around at all when it comes to removing removing coasters. We've seen it with Kingda Ka, Vibora over at Six Flags over Texas, Nighthawk down at Carowinds, and now Anaconda at King's Dominion. And really, if you think about it, with Rapterra opening up this coming next year, 2025, I get it. Like, it's a smart move to remove this coaster because no one really cares, because they have a better, newer looping coaster a few steps away in Rapterra when it opens up come springtime. So, marketing wise and just a smart move for the park, this is honestly the best time to do it. So I'm really glad they're doing it. I kind of think, again, with Kingda Ka and all these other rides that the new Six Flags is removing, they should hopefully next time they do all this stuff give us a few weeks to go back out to the park to ride these rides. That is unfortunate, especially with like iconic rides like Kingda Ka. But regardless, Anaconda, while it wasn't my favorite ride in the park, it was visually beautiful. I loved how it went out over Lake Charles. The first drop took you through that tunnel under the water, then right into the, I think what's it called? It goes to the vertical loop, and then the Sidewinder element, and then the second half is where it kind of gets kind of rough. The first half I really enjoyed. Anytime a parks remove these Aero coasters, it is quite sad. I mean, we saw it with Vortex at Kings Island, Great America Scream Machine at Great Adventure, Shockwave at Great America. It is sad. And I'm also going to share like thoughts on like potential next coasters to be removed as well. But Anaconda takes up a massive plot of land. If you've never been to King's Dominion, like, it takes up a huge chunk of that left corner. And it is a great looking ride, but the ride obviously is not very good at all. So it will not be missed. But I'm really intrigued for the future of this park and this, because as you see right here, here's the map of it. And clearly there's so many different things that King's Dominion could designate this area for. What I personally would love to see is maybe cut down some of the trees along the shore of the lake and have the lake be more visible from within the park. That would be really cool for King's Dominion to be able to do that. And I would not mind at all for the park's next coaster to be located out onto the water or running along the shoreline in some way. Think like Pipeline at SeaWorld Orlando, or the, the jet ski coaster at SeaWorld San Antonio. Like, something like that would be really cool with the ride interacting with the water. The good news is this area is still technically considered the Jungle Expedition area. So whatever new ride they put here, it's going to blend in with the great theme of this up-and-coming area. And honestly, with Rapterra and Tambili and all the other great rides in this area, and Pantherion, I think it is now, I-305, King's Dominion, I mean, Six Flags, the new Six Flags is definitely pumping some money into King's Dominion, and rightfully so. This is a fantastic park. And I was just talking to Airtime Mike. Be sure to check him out on Instagram. And we were just chatting a few minutes ago, and he's like, King's Dominion now has 0 bad coasters. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're right. Like, King's Dominion is a lot like Kings Island, where there's hard to find a bad coaster. Now that Anaconda's gone, there's no bad coaster. So great job overall for King's Dominion with this. Now, as far as the future goes, again, this is a huge plot of land. What I think, if it was me, I think it makes the most sense to dedicate part of this real estate for a water park expansion. As you see right here, Soak City is divided by Racer 75, and the north, or just on the other side of the rides, basically most of the water slides and water park attractions. But then on the other side, the smaller portion doesn't have near as many water park attractions. This water park did have a Tornado Pro slide, and that was great, but unfortunately they tore it down. So I would love to be able to see a new, maybe giant map racer or huge slide complex take up part of this, just to give Soak City some more attractions on this side of Racer 75, kind of balance out the water park. But as far as the dry park goes, I mean, whenever you have this big of real estate that becomes available, obviously the first thing comes to mind is new coaster. King's Dominion does not need any more like themed areas as far as expanding the park, even make it even larger, because it already is a huge park to begin with. So I definitely feel like this will be the next coaster for King's Dominion, and hopefully it's 2027, 28, 29. I mean, most likely King's Dominion's record, I would say, obviously Rapterra's 2025. I think 2029, 2030 is definitely doable for this park, especially with the basically the recent motivation to get King's Dominion up to where it should be and where it deserves to be. But as far as new coasters go, I mean, there's so many different things that King's Dominion could benefit from. I've said in past videos, I would love, and I mean love, for King's Dominion to be able to build a really solid hyper coaster that isn't too intense, but offers a great floating air time and just a really enjoyable ride experience. Think something like Mako or Diamondback, or something from Mach Rides like Hyperia over at Thorpe Park. Like, there's so many great hypercoasters out there that would benefit King's Dominion, because you have the Giga, obviously super intense ride, probably too intense for most of us, at least to the GP, where the GP comes from. But adding a great hypercoaster to King's Dominion would make this ride become the most popular and probably the best ride overall in the entire park. I just think that's the smartest move. Will King's Dominion actually get $25–30 million for a hypercoaster? I mean, who knows? I think it's a great move for the park. If it's not a hyper, I mean, there's a lot of great models out there that King's Dominion could definitely benefit from. I would love to see Six Flags and Vekoma work together to bring the next-gen Vekoma flying coaster like FLY or Phantasialand to King's Dominion. I really think that would be a really cool fit, have it fly above and around the water. Like, that would be really, really, really cool. But the price tag on those, no one really knows how much those rides cost, so it all depends on what the budget is for King's Dominion's next coaster. And then finally, you know, you can always call up B&M and have them build you a unique coaster. We already saw them design them a SeaWorld Orlando, the multi-launch family coaster. What I would not mind seeing is Anaconda getting replaced by a family B&M inverted coaster. Now, I know you're saying Big Bad Wolf's down the street. Okay, so what? All the time, parks build different rides or the same rides in the same, you know, close distances. I mean, maybe it's a Vekoma inverted coaster. I mean, it doesn't have to be B&M, but there's a lot of different variables that come in play. I mean, you could even look at maybe a Vekoma tilt coaster. Yeah, that's the beauty of this business, right? There's so many great coasters out there and so many cool parks, and each park has its own dynamic, and so it's always fun to like pick and choose of which ride would fit at the King's Dominion. So I definitely feel like something is obviously going to be coming here. I would love it to be something major, but with Anaconda getting ripped out, it begs the question, what's next? I mean, you have to look at Invertigo at Kings Island, 100%. You have to look at Viper at Magic Mountain. I mean, I just don't see how that ride can last much longer. The only thing going for that park is Superman is going to get removed, I'm sure, before Viper. So that will be definitely on the go. And then if you look at other parks, there's just so many different. I mean, Carowinds could easily remove Vortex as well as Carolina Cyclone. You know, Canada's Wonderland, Flight Deck, and Time Warp. You know, so it's going to be really kind of interesting to see how the new merger, the new company shapes the parks. But I know a lot of people get upset because they're removing rides, but most of these rides outside of Kingda Ka are just filler rides. They're older, they're not very popular, I totally understand it. So I'm very, very excited for King's Dominion's future. I've always had this area kind of on my radar as far as what type of ride would do really well over there. And who is to say that they work with mock rides or who maybe Intamin? I mean, there's so many different things that this merger is going to be shifting and changing. I would love to see some type of Intamin coaster. I know that's probably not very likely, but you know, it's good to hope for it, right? So anyways, that's my thoughts. Anaconda has officially been retired from King's Dominion. That is just crazy, absolutely crazy. And honestly, I did not have it as a part of my 25 things that I predict will be happening in 2025. And you can see that video at the bottom of your screen right now, so check that out. If you like the style of video where there's basically no editing, no cuts at all, just me talking, let me know in the comments. But with that being said, Merry Christmas, have a blessed holiday. Theme Park Brandon, remember to smile, think positive, and keep riding coasters.